Hello. So, regardless of what you think, this is the actual take on the Joker, Arthur Fleck. The Joker started off as an innocent child in Gotham City, raised by who he thought were people that were his parents. And he thought that his mother was the only person in his life that was in his corner. And once that part of his life crumbled, then he felt absolutely isolated and alone and decided to take that out on society, which he saw as aggression and attack on a constant basis every day. I mean, after all, if his own mother could defend him and take care of him, then the last vestige of strength within him, which seemed to be his psychopathy, took over, and his natural instinct to survive and take care of himself took over. And the irony of all of that is what made him laugh. He laughed at the irony of life. He actually laughed at the irony in his life. And he laughed at the criminal element and the subjugation that he suffered at the hands of those that he loved and he believed should have loved him, because he saw this going on all around him, but couldn't find his way in. And so at the end, he did find his way in, because he found love by the masses. The masses loved him, and that's all he really wanted. He wanted love, he wanted acceptance, he wanted to be a part of a family, just like anyone. And the fact of the matter is that even though people consider it deranged and psychopathic, and it received an R rating, there are a lot of more horrific, disgusting, decrepit, and sewage-strewn movies done by Marvel out there that don't have an R rating. Oh, they've got Wolverine giving people the middle finger, and they've got the relationship outside of marriage between Cyclops and Phoenix, but Wolverine making it a tryst, and the jealousy between the two men fighting over the woman, and so on and so forth. And then you've got the naked blue woman running around in her burlesque outfit for babies. And you've got Logan and Professor X replete with expletives at a 10-year-old girl. Oh yes, she's an actress, but she's also a human being, and they're using profanity and expletives and vulgarity and adult situations and adult references around children. And the children are laughing, and you go to the cosplay conventions or the comic book shows and you'll see risque drawings and paintings done by grown men of women in Playboy outfits and spandex that might as well be body paint, like the blue nympho that was rolling around on tables in X-Men. None of that received an R rating, except maybe Deadpool or something close to that. But because there was an excitable, angry moment here and there in Joker, all of a sudden, it's dangerous. We have to protect the movie theaters, and we have to watch our children, and so on and so forth. When you've got naked women all over Disney films and all over Disney cartoons, and the subliminal implants and all of the little quick inserts of nakedness and sexually suggestive language and so on and so forth. And all of a sudden, a movie that actually shows character study and actually shows acting quality and acting behavior, where the movie doesn't make the actor, but the actor makes the movie. And all of a sudden you have a prevailing scream permeating the advertisement waves of people who control advertisements and who are the gatekeepers of the advertising industry, presumed to speak for the masses, when probably 95% of the masses don't believe these people are their chosen representative. They have their own opinion about this. This was a well done study in an individual plucked from humanity, put in a precarious situation where he doesn't understand his life and is trying to make sense of his life and has been lied to and abused and taken advantage of all of his life, deciding that the malefactors, the criminals, the embezzlers, the extortioners, the abusers, and the users are not going to do that to him anymore. So he champions his own cause and becomes his own hero. And then he goes up against a deranged psychopath like Batman in other universes. But he is a man who's just trying to protect himself and is tired of people using him as a joke. So what does he do? He embraces the name instead of using it as a denigration. And he embraces the identity. And he decides, I am going to do things for myself. I'm going to feed myself. I'm going to clothe myself. I'm not going to protect or take care of anybody else that doesn't care about my kindnesses and my considerations. I'm going to do things that go in the opposite way and see if they work. And they became quite humorous to them, the irony of it all. He started to amuse himself and enjoy his own company. And the study into this psychopathy is not a study into psychopathy, but it's a study into the psychopathy of society and those individuals who do not blend and have to fight and vie and scrap and scratch to even make a living. There are people that were of old and of renown who were put in jail by society, almost burned as a witch, like Christopher Columbus because he believed in a new world, or Galileo was in prison. All of the anomalies, all the people that don't fit into the cliques and the clans and the little groupings and the yes men societies, these people are looked upon by gangs and gaggles of psychopaths as the psychopath. Like, for instance, in Salem, it wasn't the witches that were burned. The witches did the burning. Who would burn another human being? So Joker is actually a study into those who have sense and sensibility and have decided not to take the acrimonious acknowledgments and accolades of society, where they have to put all these tchotchkes on a shelf and constantly dust them and dust the shelves and look back on how one singer in rock and roll put it, glory days, that you're only worth your last accomplishment. Here's a person who found worthiness within themselves, accomplishment within themselves, things within themselves that they saw within society that were very lacking and that they had been accused of lacking, and they found out that they weren't lacking, and then find out that these people weren't even their friends, this individual wasn't even their mother, these people weren't doctors, they're not saviors, they're not interested in the health, safety, and well-being of anyone but them and theirs. It was a survival of the fittest. It was creation against evolution. It was apes against angelics. And Joker, in his mind, won. He won because he had overcome all obstacles put in front of him and maintained his sanity and sense of humor, sense of direction, sense of purpose, while society all around him was falling apart. He never considered himself smarter than them. He just found out that he was.